Welcome to Friday. I hope you're really enjoying yourself and enjoying the Joy Summit as far as you go as today and of course yesterday. And of course, we're just starting out today and I'm really excited about it. I just love the card making. So for those that don't know me, I'm Bette Daoust and I have my company, which is betsmakes.com. And what we do is a lot of paper crafting. We have other summits and all kinds of things that we're doing as well. But card making and playing with paper is one of the big things that we just absolutely love to do. And of course, we have our own one-day workshop coming up on July 23rd. So if you're on our mailing list, you will get an invite to that. And that is a one-day event. And of course, our workshops, there are 6 different workshops that we go through, from very simple to very complicated projects. And we have a countdown project. So we have a lot of fun with those. And that's on July 23rd. So as far as making things with the Joy and the Joy Extra, we have a lot of fun with that because we try to design things that will work for all the machines. And of course, our project, the one that we worked on or are working on this particular summit, is our trellis birthday card. And this trellis birthday card, of course, we have a little cutout for the branches, the butterfly, the bird, and the happy birthday portion in between. I just want to talk a little bit about this happy birthday portion that's inside there. And of course, that happy birthday portion, what I did is I printed out the happy birthday on a laser printer to do the shiny part of it. And then I put the special foil over top and then stuck it through, of course, my laminator, and it adhered to it in one way. I didn't have to use the tool that goes with the various machines to make that foil happen. It was just a heat application. You can use a heat gun to do that as well. And then, of course, lined it up so that it would then cut out on my Cricut or your Joy or the Joy Extra, because you can push this one in sideways. So I know print and cut is not really available, but if you get it all put together, it was really easy to do. So I want you to watch that video and make sure that that happens. Now, you don't have to cut out the card in this particular project because you can use a card blank for it. I just like to design my own, and I think that's has a lot to do with it, is designing my own at all times. And of course, it's just a white cardstock that we use. And as far as the other little pieces and parts go, other than the trellis, I use scrap paper to cut out the bird and the butterfly and, of course, the vines that go down the side. I just use a little bit of scrap. So if you're using your scrap papers, that is a lot of fun to do because I keep a whole box of those scrap papers. And those scrap papers really come in handy for all kinds of things. Now, they can be small scraps or large scraps. It doesn't really matter. I cut them all down so they'll fit through the various machines. And then the trellis itself is just out of white cardstock. Now, this takes a little bit of cutting. Now, we designed this, actually, I designed this right in Illustrator, and then produce the SVG file with it. So this is one of a kind, and feel free to use this in your projects. You don't have to give me credit for it or anything. Simply just go ahead and use it, and that's an important part of it. So if you decide you want to use it and make a bunch of cards and sell them on Etsy, go right ahead. You have my total permission to do that. My goal behind it all is to help everybody succeed in what they're doing for their craft making, whether it's for family or friends, or whether you're selling product on Etsy or anywhere else. You are free to use anything that I produce. So if you go into my resource library, it's just betsmakes.com/library. If you go there, I have a free resource library, and you can go in there and grab all kinds of resources. I put a new one up every week. So if you're on the mailing list, you get a free resource every week. And of course, in our newsletter, we give away a lot of other stuff as well. A lot of freebies in there, a lot of our latest videos. And Bat, could the trellis part be cut out of something sturdier than cardstock used as a stencil? Absolutely, Loretta. You can use, you can get the stencil matte film that you use. So if you want to do that and then create the stencil yourself, go right ahead and do that. There are a lot of little pieces and parts that cut out, but it is one solid piece. So you can use that as a stencil for sure. And cutting that out on your Joy is a lot easier. What did you click on to separate the lines of text? I need that magic. What did I click on to separate the lines of text? Generally, I just ungroup the text, and you can ungroup the text or ungroup the line right in Design Space. There is an option when you've clicked on the text. I think it's called Advanced, and then it has ungroup the words and ungroup the lines, so you can make the two lines separate. Or the easier way, of course, is to type out happy all by itself and then a new text box, birthday, and that gives you the two separate lines. And then you can move them around any way you like. It makes a big difference on how you do that. So I just want to know what projects, what ink works well on a smoother cardstock. I use the distress inks on there. Now, the smoother cardstock, when you go to use like a greasier type medium, it doesn't work as well because it does smear and smudge. So the distress inks and ink pad type things really work well. Now I use these mini distress ink pads. I find those a lot of fun, that I don't have, big copious amounts of ink pads hanging around. I have a ton of little minis and then the refill bottles for them, so I can constantly dab between the colors. It doesn't take up a lot of space. So for me, it's the Ranger Distress inks. They happen to be my favorite, and I've got Liquitex type inks as well. They will adhere, but it's a lot messier. I like getting messy, but not overly messy, if you know what I mean. It's a lot of fun to create things on your desk, but if you get into a more messier medium, it depends on your workspace and what you're doing. So I hope that answered your question, Loretta. And I just want to talk a little bit. So we also have a community at Bette's Makes. While I'm waiting for some questions to come in, and tell you a little bit about our community. It is on Circle, not on Facebook. So each week we have 2 live sessions at a minimum, sometimes more. We have special events for everybody, such as workshops and other things that are going on. We have interactions. We have, how to design and create inside. It's more live and more access to myself and my team inside. So we're constantly interacting. We always answer the questions inside there. Nothing gets missed. You're not lost in a big list. So if you're interested in that community, you can just actually make a comment or just ask me. You can just email me directly, bet@betsmakes.com. You can see that right on the screen. So if you're interested in that community, just let me know. And we also have, during this event, we have some nice giveaway things that are happening too. And it's just, if you look down on our page, you will find that there's the handmade card collection. And we'll put that up in the screen in just a second. It's just below what we are making. So that's that handmade card collection. So we have this, and then further down the screen, you are going to have a special offer here, and this one is free. We have a ton of cards that are inside there, and those are free for you to make. And we it's not a printed book, it is an ebook, so you will get that download immediately, and this will take you over to our Shopify store called Copious Crafts, and you will be able to grab it there. So all you need to do is click on that button and grab that handmade card collection, and it's something that you are going to absolutely love. And part and parcel of something else we do is our digital kits, which is right below there. So every month you get 14 pattern papers, you get a digital stamp, you get digital dies, you get templates, and of course a project to do. And that's only $19 for the full year. And we are having a lot of fun putting these together. we come up with some suggestions from our community, which back to community, to come in, put these into the digital kits. We just released our July kit. And of course, August is coming up really soon. So if you get in it now, you'll get your July, you'll get August, and then every month thereafter, we send these out. You're going to absolutely love these. But start by grabbing your free handmade card collection, because that book is going to give you a lot of projects to work on in between all the summits and workshops that you're attending and things that you're doing and all of those special things. I keep saying things, and I apologize. Special events that you're working on. Now, I know a lot of people here is join the Joy Extra. Every one of the handmade cards, because you bring it into Design Space, you can adjust it to the size of the machine you have. So if you have the Joy Extra, you can have it a little wider. And of course, with the Joy, you have it a little bit smaller. So you've got all kinds of little things that you want to do in here. Now, what are you working on right now? I know a few of you are not asking the questions, but I would really like to know which one has been your favorite so far. And I don't care if it's not mine. I want you to say what you have been working on so far. And so far, what's your favorite? We have a lot of days left to go in this summit. So this is just a start. You need to start working on a lot of the things. Even if you're just going in for the 24 hours, start watching those immediately. Pick up your tips and tricks. There are a lot of them. All of the speakers here are absolutely amazing, and the projects they're bringing you are fabulous. So I know you're going to love absolutely everything that you have in here. Now, I'm not usually at a loss for words, but you can see there's a lot behind me. Do you have a go-to technique that you use often? Go-to technique. Of course, I like to design a lot of stuff in Illustrator, but I start in Design Space. And of course, my technique there is to put in my large rectangle right away for the card size that I want. Grab a score line, get the right depth, put the two together, and just use a line center. I'm using that at all times. And then I just attach those. And then I have my card basic right behind me right away. So I know the sizes I can start working with. And of course, my favorite technique is to grab some ephemera. Now, I know print then cut is an issue with, of course, using the Joy. So what I generally do is just another little technique is to use another program, whether it's on Windows or if it's on the Mac. They have a paint program that you can use. You can bring your ephemera into that and then just simply print it out right there. Now, I know the cutting becomes a problem because you don't know where the outlines are going to go. I end up cutting a lot by hand sometimes just for the ephemera itself, but not the card. And of course, if you can get some templates that allow you to cut out some of the ephemera without printing on it, that works as well. Now, easily you can cut the outline for the ephemera out on your Joy, and then if you print the other stuff, you can cut it to fit that outline, and that works as well. So there's a lot of little workarounds with different things that you can do. And of course, when it comes to scoring, I see a few other people use this one as well. If you have the, it's the foil tool that fits inside the Joy. You can actually use that as a scoring tool. So if you set that up for foil, you can then use it as a scoring tool. And I think the Bearded Housewife is doing a project with that in it. So make sure you grab that one as well. And those are a couple of the favorite things that we absolutely love to do. Now, just sort of a recap with that. What size cards do you make most? Well, I'm kind of funny with that because it's not just Joy and Maker and things. I try to keep them within the confines of what can be cut out on the smallest machine. So if we have 4.75 wide, that's what I will do. And that just gives me the ability to cut on that size. Now, if I'm using pre-cut cards, it's a lot easier, of course, because then you can cut and paste things on with the Joy. But if I'm using my Maker, I go 5 by 5 deep, and that makes it 11 wide, and that's the perfect size to fit on half a mat, so I can get 2 cards on one mat if I'm using a larger mat. But then, of course, with the Joy, I shrink that down to fit inside there, and then I can cut them out on the Joy or the Joy Extra. So that format works really well with me. I know Cricut is selling a lot of card blanks. I also found some card blanks with various other places. You can find them sometimes at a dollar store or a Dollar Tree. Michael's definitely has them. American Crafts has them, and various little stores around. So I happen to have a wholesale supplier that produces those, has their own brand called Prism Studio, and it hasn't been widely known, but they have a lot of card blanks as well. So you grab things as you see them. If you see card blanks and you can get them for a special deal, just grab them because they're always useful. I generally buy from Cricut for a lot of my stuff, but other papers and different things, I have various suppliers that I work with that help along. Now, you probably have a sponsor or two for this particular summit that will give you some deals on paper and cardstock. So take a look at the sponsors here. They're going to be an important aspect. You supporting those sponsors is really important as well. It doesn't matter whose summit you're in. Those sponsors are really important people. So let's see if there are any more questions. If there are not, we can wrap up here in the next minute or so. I'm always working on stickers and cards, currently working on Christmas cards. Yes, Christmas in July. And it's a good idea. I have a hard time wrapping my head around winter when I really love summer. But this is the perfect time to start making Christmas cards. And there are some more summits happening in August that will help you get over that hump with Christmas cards as well. But I know there are a few here. And don't forget, with us, on July 23rd, we do have our summer workshop. So we have a lot of fun projects on that summer workshop. You can see behind me a card with a rainbow on it. That is part of that summer workshop. You'll see a tall box with a red top. That is a fan inside of a box, and that is a fan for keeping yourself cool. That is all part and parcel of our summer workshop. And one more time, let's take a look at that card that we're going to be making in this particular summit. And what you want to do here is make sure you cut it out. Now, when you're cutting out the trellis, it does take a fair amount of time to cut it out. So just be warned, there are a lot of little squares and pieces that you'll be cutting out. Now, the little diamond pieces that cut out, if you save those in a box or something, those are scraps that you can use a little later in other projects as little diamonds and paint them and add them as a mosaic or a collage on another card. So don't throw anything away that's being cut. That's an important part as well. So I hope you're all going to enjoy this, and I really do appreciate it. Is the summer workshop sign up available yet? It is going to be online on Monday, and we do have a wait list, and I don't have the link handy, but if you get on the mailing list, if you just go to betsmakes.com, you'll see a thing for getting our free Cricut tips and tricks. Just sign up for that, or get your free handmade book, and I will make sure you get the information, because I know you're going to love that workshop as well. It can be used in 99% of the machines, and everything can be adjusted. We do have some that are going to be fairly large that may or may not fit, but for most of the part, a lot of our little projects, such as the fan, you can break it down into smaller pieces and do those as well. So that's our summer workshop, July 23rd. Go to betsmakes.com. Make sure you sign up for our mailing list, and you will get all of the information at that point. So that's July 23rd. Your handmade card collection, make sure you get that for yourself. That is free. We normally sell that for $39. So just grab that. That is just for attending this. And I hope you really enjoy it. And I think that's about all I have to say. I just hope you all have a really wonderful time on the next few days with the summit. It is absolutely fantastic. The speakers are amazing. And I know you're going to love every single project, including ours. Thank you so much.